this story is not completed yet. Let's run over to Phase Zero. Let's listen to this podcast interview, this particular answer.
Yeah.
This show is meticulously done from script all the way to what we get on screen. Nothing is happening by accident. And if it does, we lean into that harder so the audience never has to question, oh, did they mean to do that?
Here it is.
Oh my God. Okay. So
if you can't see, it says his name is Jake Costorino. He's the director of X-Men 97.
If it's everything's on purpose, I have two things before we get out of here, which is, what's the conversation like to unite MJ and Peter? Just like out of nowhere, like everybody on our show paused the episode at 12:15 or 12:20 at night. Like, what is happening? And also, if that's the case, what's the conversation? T'Chaka?
Yeah.
Look at that laughter. Look at that. It's like he's aware. When the way he just says T'Chaka, one word, T'Chaka, and my boy Jake is 100% aware of what the comment, because he didn't even have to ask, why did you prefer T'Chaka over T'Challa? What? Just the way he says T'Chaka and the way he laughed shows you that he understands what's happening here. Thank you, Jake, for watching us, understanding and being and having your finger on the pulse. I appreciate that. I like that you're not like I don't know, only accepting some of the adulation and listening to that part. You're also listening to the criticism. You're aware of it. Your laughter, though, worries me. However, there's more answer to this. I'm just trying to say, based on who this man is, the director, and his level at that company, I want to just say now, everything he's about to answer with is a non-story. I'm not going to hold his feet to any fire or anything like that. He wasn't trying to make T'Chaka, instead of the actual king, T'Challa, be the guy. It was not his choice. It was other people who thought, in that little board scene, it's going to be him, T'Chaka.
I'm like, wait a second. And the other thing, he was T'Challa. So if you could talk about those two things.
Yeah, sure. I will elaborate on as much of it as I can.
Okay.
Some of the Black Panther of it all are definitely closed doors conversations that I wasn't privy to. That was definitely in Bo and the executives' realm.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Bo tell us? It was not my choice. It was the executives. It came from higher up. It wasn't Jake, because Jake is not an idiot. Jake knows that the only Black Panther to ever open up to the rest of the world was T'Challa. That's what differentiated him from his dad. Jake knows I would never in my life decide that in the World Security Council, T'Chaka would be unmasked in the Black Panther suit, talking to all these world leaders, talking about that. Wakanda opens up to the rest of the world during T'Challa's era of Black Panther. And Jake's a storyteller who wouldn't know that. But Jake is also a company man. And Jake Castorina is about to make excuses to keep his job to the Phase Zero audience.
But for us, there's always multiple timelines, right? There's always
absolutely
there's always a one-off. This is exactly how I like it, except for that one thing. Okay, cool, but it's still the thing. So,
oh yeah, for sure. I still like X-Men 97. That's all right, but it's just the T'Challa thing is a separate problem. I don't think anyone here. Let me know if you're wrong, because there's a comment section. Let me know. Did that ruin the whole X-Men 97 episode for you? That was still a good finale.
So who's to say what timeline is the right timeline, proper timeline? I mean, y'all aren't even ready for how we're going to you up in season 2.
Oh, no.
I'm to say about the timelines. Actually, he's got more answers.
We tease it at the end of 10. It's like, we're going to have to elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's like, can't just leave that there.
Yeah. So, and for, at least for myself and what we this is set in the 90s. If T'Challa is the natural successor and is more of our era now, he would have still been a kid
He just set it up. It's set in the 90s. So if T'Challa is ours now, then he would have been a kid back then. His what if scenario to try to hold this thing up with glue and I'll crumble it like this. Peter Parker is around. When T'Challa is Black Panther, Peter Parker isn't a 50-year-old. But I guess according to what you're about to tell me, that's the case. You see how broken Lad is? Well, if in the 90s... Bro, Azuri was around during the World War II era, messing with Captain America. The next Panther after that was T'Chaka. And then we get to T'Challa. You could do Cyan, you could do T'Challa. And as time grows, because we're in year 2024, one day it'll be year 2054, and we're gonna go, well, how could Azuri, T'Chaka, Scion, and then T'Challa, how could only 4 people be the Panther in the last 100 years? That doesn't make sense. We're going to have to add a new Panther in there. Or we're going to have a period where there wasn't a Panther. They're going to have to keep writing it as time grows. Same way with Magneto. As time passes, we can't say he's a survivor of what happened way back then in Germany. We're going to have to say, oh, it was only his parents, because time in real life moves.
At that time, and while it is sort of retconny based on what
It is retconning.
90s episode series you watch, right? Whether it was Fantastic Four,
Yeah.
Or
I believe it was Fantastic Four
It
that
was.
even had, that had T'Challa.
yeah, it's true.
And that was before, like, that was, and just see, nerd.
You're not a nerd. No. Don't make fun of yourself, Jake. That's continuity. That's your job. You get paid to be accurate and follow along and not contradict. We applaud that. Yes, the Fantastic Four episode had T'Challa in it. He says, 10 years ago, Claw killed my dad, and that's why, I had to test myself against the Fantastic Four, but I can do it.
Remember if T'Chaka was like assassinated or if like there was a back in time thing, but I remember they did T'Challa. But that's the best thing about our sandbox and multiple universes and things. For us, it just felt right. Like,
Dog, you told us it wasn't your decision. Stop trying to make things correct with your company to make them look good.
you know what? I don't know what the mandates, and I can't speak to whatever the close.
I don't know what the mandates. Well, doesn't that sound like there's a mandate? I don't know what the mandates are. There's mandates. It was a mandate. No T'Challa allowed. Wake up, everybody. This is deeper than just, the actor died, so let's make his sister the Black Panther in the movie. Let's name a new kid T'Challa. He can be the one in Black Panther 3. It's deeper than that. A successful character whose skin is dark broke through. He's popular. He's accepted by whites, blacks, everyone in between liked him. That is not what Hollywood is about.
Closed door conversations were, but as a storyteller, I'm like, oh, this is not the aughts. This is mid to late 90s. Like, I like the idea that we're seeing the legacy characters, just for myself as a creative, it's reminding the audiences, oh, this is an earlier time. It's just one of those other things that we could just help remind the audiences, we're not now, we are then. Why did they do this? Because we didn't know about that then, or we couldn't do that then. And so it's the constant, just to kind of check that timeline math, if that makes sense.
Fine. Peter Parker is -5 years old. Because that was then, okay? We're telling about the X-Men story as if it was then. And in this period of time, because Peter Parker is the common Spider-Man, he's supposed to be not even born yet, and his parents are still alive. Why doesn't that check out? If I'm looking at a superhero era where the X-Men are all around and they're all grown, if I'm looking at Daredevil and every cameo you use, Doctor Strange went and learned magic. It looked like he was even the Sorcerer Supreme. If all that time can pass for them, all these guys are on screen, T'Challa is the Black Panther of this era. His reign has begun. Not to mention in Fantastic Four, they said T'Chaka died 10 years ago. There's no way possible. Oh, we're going to look at the timeline. This is what the 1990s, but it's what if Marvel present happened in the 1990s. The only franchise you're treating this way, Jake, your company, is only treating the Black Panther franchise as the legacy characters. Because give me another example of a legacy character that's happening. There isn't another time you went, actually this time with the Iron Fist would be, or this time the Ghost Rider hasn't been this, so it's got to be. There's never been that with any other character but the Black Panther franchise. You're not paying homage or being right to the timelines. This is what if Marvel present happened in the 1990s. At the time, which was literally present time, ongoing. But you're adapting stories that happened after the show went off the air in 1997. You're using characters. I guess you're going to do the Messiah Complex stuff, which came out year 2009-ish. You're doing things with Cable. I think you're going to go back in time and do some of the Hope Summer stuff with Bishop. I hope. Man. Bishop was ruined with that storyline. I saw you do the E for Extinction with which Grant Morrison's New X-Men. All these stories happened after 1997. So You see how stupid it is to only pick on the Black Panther franchise? Yes. Now you're just covering up for your bosses. I hope you get a raise. Jake, keep doing your thing. Keep making X-Men fun. There is a force against T'Challa. There is a wide... Am I done with the interview, actually?
Absolutely.
To visually remind the audience, we are in the 90s.
Mm,
We
right.
were there before, not current.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
whatever.
there was another one, right? I was able to.
The MJ's Peter thing, but
yeah. Honestly, man, I think that was just. I think that.
I don't think I care about the MJ and Peter thing, but you can go to Phase Zero and check out that interview. We're not crazy. There's a great superhero, one who is aspiring, and one who was accepted. And what's really terrifying to these racists is that their children did these like sleepovers and parties that were Marvel themed, and we're going, you could be Hulk, you could be Black Widow, okay, you're gonna be Black Panther. We need to have a Black Panther. That's terrifying. That their kids can see themselves and dress up that way. That's nuts. That needed to come to an end. So now when you think of the word Black Panther, you don't get what you think about when you think of Iron Man. You know who Iron Man is. You know who the person is. Now when you think of Black Panther, yo, let's make you not think about him. Let's make you think about his sister, his bastard child, his grandfather, his father in the cartoon. Black Panther isn't about him anymore. We got to think of other people. Nah, I know who the Black Panther is. And I know how legacies, I know how mantles work. And in Marvel Present, it is always him. T'Challa is the Black Panther. Stop trying to disassociate himself with that word. Stop putting out projects where we see a person who looks like it's going to be T'Challa because he's wearing the suit at the same time, and then it's just not ending up being T'Challa. Don't dilute the brand. Put more fire on it. I talked about how they're treating Pikachu, how Nintendo and Pokemon treated Pikachu when it got started, and how this is not how this was happening to the Black Panther franchise. This is very racial, everybody. Some of you guys are not showing up to the march.